Good morning, Flosstube. Pam, stitching between the lines. It's Friday morning, November 9th. Look, I even knew that. I did think just to make sure I was right. Anyway, it's not a very bright day, so the overhead light is on, and I feel like it's a little overwhelming, but it's kind of grim out. We're supposed to get snow for the next few days, which will brighten things up outside. In fact, it's supposed to be the big fluffy kind of flakes, but I actually may not be here to see that. Um, anyway, went to my quilt getaway last week, which was kind of fun in terms of it's only a semi getaway. It's a 2 mile drive from my house. So I come home at night, which I very much enjoy, and I get a lot of sewing done. And there's people I know, and I was surprised by other people I knew who were there, so it was enjoyable and productive. I didn't work on anything to show you. I took with me 2 months of wordplay, Brenda Gervais wordplay. I made sure everything was there for 2 months worth. I think I'm missing one thread, but I thought I could work around that, and never pulled it out. The project I'm working on actually has a combination of embroidery and applique on the quilt blocks, so I did plenty of handwork, so cross stitch didn't come into play. So I really don't have a whole lot of stuff to show. So you're wondering though why I am here today. Well, first of all, like I said, I might miss the snow. I am leaving in a little while, accompanying my husband on a business trip to destinations undisclosed. We're just gonna not make public where I'm going, just because. Just because. At any rate, it'll be nice to go away with him. I go away a lot. I guess it really was early September that we went on our vacation. But we were with a pretty big group. So, anyway, this is just us. Well, and business meeting things, but that doesn't affect me. I'm so very like in the zone, like only what's affecting me, whatever. Oh man, I'm telling you. Um, this time change is hard to get it used to, and this is the easy one. I want it takes like a week before you stop doing the mental math of like what time does my body think it is. Anyway, it just life just goes on. I'm really here because of this. Anybody who follows me on Instagram has had a little sneak peek at what I finished. Yay, Janlin's winter sampler started in January of 2017 is what my notes say, and honestly I feel like it was longer than that, but I started it because I was seeing it on Flosstube, and that just made me want to start it. So I started it. I started in the snowy part, and I just got a bit of it done, and then I left it for a really long time, and then I got back to it, and I took it to Florida with me the summer of 2017, where I worked on over here. This is what I worked on over here. And then I took it to Florida with me last winter, and that's when, last winter, winter 2018, that's when I really get some serious intense stitching time, and I managed, I think I had, the word winter was underway from my summer stitching. In the winter, I was working in here and over to here. And then this summer, I was doing down in here, and then most recently, this I did, I know I worked on this when I was in Florida. Most recently, I finished up this whole quadrant. I tend to backstitch sections as I go. I knew this was going to be heavy backstitching, so I was trying to backstitch as I went along, and even so, when I got to this, it was still really heavy. And as you're doing it, you discover, oops, I forgot to do the outside of the candy cane. I was waiting to finish the jingle bells, and whoops, I forgot to do some other little, I don't know, something somewhere. So there's a lot of jumping around, but if you love backstitching, that works to your advantage. I don't hate it. I feel overwhelmed by it sometimes and resistant to moving on because the back stitch isn't going to do itself. So I try to stay in sections. So it's hard to get the whole thing to see. I don't even know what my favorite part is. Possibly this real Christmassy quadrant. But when I look up above at the little tiny detail that makes those children playing in the snow, and I really loved everywhere where there was this back stitching in the background that made it, just filled it in like in such a sweet way. Just so enjoyable. This kind of stitching up here is my favorite kind. I talked about this last time where whereas you're counting, you go stitch 3, skip 1, stitch 1, skip 1, stitch 1, skip 1. I don't know why, I just really like that. And then you put I put the other stitching in afterwards because I don't want any of the main focus stitching, which is this white, in this case, snowflakes, to be like sucked in when the background stitches are happening. I almost, if I can avoid it, never stitch mice, but of course I couldn't just leave all those little guys out. So cute. It is so cute. So cute. Lots of French knots. Probably the fiddliest part are things like the popcorn where it's a few stitches of one shade, a few stitches of another shade. Kind of, sort of like doing flowers, which are not high on my list. So there it is. I measured it. I did it on the Ada. It was in a kit, and I did it with the floss, which was plenty of the floss, and I'm pretty sure it was DMC numbers matched up and everything. So I measured it. It does not fit a standard size frame, and I really want to frame it. I think I want this. You never know when you really get to it. I think I want it framed right up to the edge, as long as we're not losing detail. The framer at the cross stitch store will know what will look the best because she always does. I'm going to say hold please for half a second. Just stay. Sorry about that. It just occurred to me I wanted to show this, which I've showed before. This was another very intense piece that I did. And the framing, it's got a double frame, you know, the little and the main. That, like I said, she'll know exactly what it needs to really bring it out. So possibly it'll be framed similarly. I don't know if red would be the exact right color. But we'll see. So I'm looking forward to taking that. Probably when I get back, I'll run that out to the framers. It's a good half-hour drive anyway to that store. So that's the exciting part of what I've done. I've also kept going on Silver Creek Samplers, my Christmas list. I can't seem to stop. I talked last time about how I managed to have 2019 as the date in the box. So I need to slow it down is what I keep telling myself and not finish it until 2019. But you know what that means is I'm going to save a star or a couple letters or something. Because I'm all the way down here. I'm already into this, you know, her dress just has a little bit more to go. There's a few of the little accessory things that need to be stitched, some more words, one more little picture, and then it's done. Another fun one, trying not to finish it this year and take it to the framers, say for example at the same time that I take the other one, because not that anybody's going to really remember the date or remember those details, just trying to stay true to my stitching. The other piece I've just been picking up, you'd think after finishing Winter Sampler I could start something, but I'm just trying to plug away at some of the things that I've been working on. Let Freedom Ring, I plan to get out after I get back. it has a lot of pieces and parts and takes up a lot of space. So I didn't get it out when I'm just have a few nights of stitching. I didn't want to get that out, so I didn't. So I pulled this out. This is an easy, so easy and quick. I say so easy, and this house is out of place only by one stitch, so I'm not changing it. So apparently I'm counting challenged. Let me get that out of there. It's hard to do this like while looking in the, oh, there we go. But I finished, let me see. Finished up, I think last time I showed you I was partly done with this house. I needed to do the roof. I did a tree, a house, a tree house, and I'm working on this one. Probably I'm just going to put this away to pull it out. It's quick. There's so few colors in it. I wanted to finish the houses and the trees on this part, and then I'll do the dividing line, and then it'll be just all trees and a few things down here, so it's not any big complicated piece. So there's that. So that's it. That's all I've been working on. One of these days I'll suddenly have to start something. Brenda Gervais wordplay, I think, is the most evident. I saw in a project bag piece I started last fall that I haven't touched since, that I'd like to get out. But in the meantime, lots of things to be doing this time of year. We're keeping it simple for Thanksgiving. My son won't be home. I think he's always been home, but I've had, each of my girls has been gone for one Thanksgiving when they were studying abroad. So it's unusual for us not to have all the kids and then usually an extra, somebody extra. But this year it'll be just the girls and I and my husband. So it'll be nice and quiet. I can watch the parade, which always makes me happy. We used to always do a turkey trot on Thanksgiving, but our ties and connections to the group that did that are, you know, once the kids are all out of high school and stuff, because it was done over at the high school. So we don't really do that anymore. So anyway, it really was quiet. I really should be able to get a lot done. My kids are at the age where Christmas shopping is not a big production. So anyway, and maybe I can catch up on some TV. It's terrible. I've kind of stopped my DVR from recording a few things that I just can't ever seem to watch. Even I'm caught up on the Flosstube videos I watch, and there was even some time when there were none to watch. So I think everybody's sort of in that like busy and not productive or whatever phase of fall. But I think things are slowing down. Retreats are kind of over and whatever. So there you go. There's not a lot to watch on TV, but every now and then I find something on Netflix. It's a whole series I want to binge or, you know, just keep up with my DVR things. But one thing I did find on TV, if you haven't seen it, is there's a new show. It's on, like, it's a 10 o'clock hour show on one of the primetime channels. We DVR everything, so I never know. But A Million Little Things. Has anybody watched that? Oh my gosh, it's like a tearjerker. Every time I watch it, it's so like intense. But I really like the characters, and the storyline just is just intriguing. I'm not sure it's anything, I can't even say what it's like, but it's just a drama. It's good. I really like it. A Million Little Pieces. So that's a good one. The nature watching. I was to comment on the nature outside my window. I posted on Instagram. I've told the story before, first of all, about how we came to have an owl house in our backyard. Not very far away. It's straight out the window here. We don't have a lot of trees in our yard, but there's woods just every direction around, but not, we have 5 acres and it's pretty clear. And we had a eastern screech owl lived under our back porch the summer before last, and we tried to give it someplace to live other than under our back porch. So we put an owl house up, which has had things like bluebirds try to make nests in there, and then they wise up that the opening's too big. And we had some northern kestrels, which is a falcon. There's a smaller falcon. They nested in there over the summer, so that was a lot of fun. But holy cow, when they had little ones in the nest, you couldn't walk into the room without them flying away, because that's how intensely they watch their surroundings, and they can see in the window clearly, and they would always just fly away. And so once they had a nest, they were really hard to get to see. But now we now have a screech owl living in our owl house, which has been so cool to watch. He was there all day Sunday, all day, all day. Every time you came in and looked, he's just sitting in there in the doorway, sound asleep. With binoculars, I can see right into his face and see his eyes are shut tight. And then, so that was Sunday. Monday and Tuesday, I didn't see him. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all 3 days, I didn't see him at all. And then yesterday, I was in my office doing desk work and stuff in the afternoon, and he wasn't there. And then all of a sudden, he was there, sound asleep, sitting in the doorway. I don't know if he nests down in the box, if he sleeps down in the box during the day, and when he gets hot or whatever, comes up and sits in the doorway. Reading about owl houses and owls online, they just kind of will do that, sit in the doorway. They sound asleep. I can see with my binoculars he is sound asleep. I'm going to put a picture here. I'll put a couple pictures. I have a picture or two of the kestrels. Fabulous looking birds. And the first time they were in that house, I couldn't figure out what the heck was in there. Their eyes, the markings on their face are so interesting. But he was back yesterday, so I'm going to put a picture, or you've seen the picture. His eyes are not the little black dots that you see on his cheeks. Those aren't his eyes. His eyes are up higher, and they're just in the picture, just slits because he's sound asleep. So I really hope that that would be really cool if we had an owl that made his home right smack here and right outside my office window. Only maybe our box is only maybe 10 feet off the ground. It's as high as we could get it without having, because you don't want it where all the branches are interrupt their flight out of the box. So I don't know. That'll be cool. That will be cool to be able to watch and see. So anyway, again, we'll see ya. Happy weekend. Bye.